So in the Vedic astrology system, we use 9 planets. And the first thing to think about is a planet is not the word we use in Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, the word we use is graha. Graha. Graha is very similar to the word to grasp. In fact, I would say the root of the word grasp comes from Latin and eventually comes from Sanskrit with the word graha. And graha means a grasper or a seizer. So you can think of a planet as an entity that grasps or seizes our consciousness. So what it's doing is it's sort of subtly working on our subtle body and adjusting the way we think and see and take in the world around us. So we have these 9 seizers or these 9 graspers or these 9 grahas. And so the first one is the sun. And you would wonder, why is the sun a planet? All our planets revolve around the sun from a Western solar system perspective, astronomy perspective. But because they're graspers, sun is a grasper. So sun is one of those graspers or grahas. Sun, moon, then Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, and then Rahu and Ketu. So in Vedic astrology, we only use these 7 planets that are visible to our naked eye. So if we're standing on Earth and we looked in the sky without a telescope, we could see Mercury and Venus, we could see Mars, we could see Jupiter, we could see Saturn. So we can only see that, we can see the moon, we can see the sun. So only the 7 planets we can physically see with our eyes are the 7 sort of light planets that are used. So nothing beyond Saturn. So after Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, we don't use those because we can't see them with our eyes. And the idea is if we can't see them with our eyes, they're not really seeing us or grasping our individual consciousness. You could use those outer planets to understand sort of macro trends and macro, what is happening to all of humanity. But for an individual, and a lot of Vedic astrology, the work that I do is to help individuals, we only go up to Saturn as the outer planet. So that gives us 7 planets that are visible to the eye from sun, moon, and so on and so forth. And those 7 planets are where the concept of weekdays came about. The ancient rishis, the ancient Vedic seers, the people with knowledge, they could feel that every day's energy from sunrise to sunrise, so one day sunrise to next sunrise, they could feel a certain planet's grasping energy more potently on that particular day. So they named the sun's day Sunday. In Sanskrit, it's called Ravi. Ravivar is the day lorded by Ravi, the sun. And in English, we call it Sunday. So then we go to Monday, the moon's day. Somvar in Sanskrit, Soma is the moon, Var is Lord, the day lorded by the moon. Somvar, Monday. Tuesday, if you speak French or if you speak Spanish, Martes, Mardi, Mars Day. Mangalvar in Sanskrit, the day of Mars. Then you go to Wednesday, Mercredi, Mercury Day. So this is the Mercury energy on Wednesday. So Wednesday is Mercury's day. We call it Wednesday because we followed a Norse lineage of language for some reason. So Tuesday is based on Norse mythology. Wednesday is based on a god named Odin in Norse mythology. I wrote about all this in my book, Astrology Decoded. And then we move to Thursday, which is Jupiter's day. Jeudi, Jueves in Spanish. In Sanskrit, Guruvar, the day lorded by the planet Guru, which is Jupiter. Friday, Freya's day, a Norse goddess of fertility and creativity. Freya comes from Venus. Venus day, Vendredi, Viernes. And in Sanskrit, it would be Shukravar, the day lorded by Shukra, who is Venus. And then, of course, we have Saturday, Saturn's day. Saturday is still the name in English. And in Sanskrit, Shanivar. So that's how we have the 7 days of the week. So if somebody asks me, why aren't we using other planets? I'm like, well, then you have to change the days of the week. 7 days of the week, 7 planets. Plus 2, there's an additional 2 planets known as Rahu and Ketu. In English, they're called the North Node and the South Node, which doesn't really mean much. In Sanskrit, they're Rahu and Ketu, these shadow points or shadowy planets. So I'll make a video on Rahu and Ketu at some point, but Rahu is a North Node shadow point where eclipses take place, and Ketu is a South Node where another eclipse could take place. So lunar and solar eclipses happen in these 2 spots. So if you take those 7 planets, the 7 days of the week, and you add these 2 additional planets, you end up with the 9 planets we use in Vedic astrology. And interesting, 9, what does that deliver? That is our numbering system. Our numbering system, single digits go from 1 through 9. Guess where that was invented? Ancient India. Ancient India understood this idea of 1 through 9, the 9 numbers, each correspond to those 9 planets. Each number actually has a correspondence to a planet. I might have to do a video on that at some point as well. So if you start adding more planets, then you break the numbering system. Our 9 numbering system is based on the 9 planets, based on ancient astronomy and mathematics and astrology by the ancient rishis. Of course, the Islam and Muslim culture came in and conquered India. They said, oh, what a cool numbering system. Let's use that. And so they used the 1 through 9 numbering system. And what do they call it? Arabic numerals. So when you hear Arabic numerals, it's the Arabs that were in India that saw this as an interesting numbering system and took it over and called it Arab Arab numeric system, or Arab numerals, Arabic numerals. But where is it really from? It's from India. We should call it Indian numerals, to be honest. In fact, we should call it Vedic numerals or Vedic astrology numerals, because they're the 9 numbers connected to the 9 planets. So we use 7 visible planets plus Rahu and Ketu, giving 9. The 7 planets are the 7 days of our week, and the 9 planets correspond to our number 9 numbering system. So if we start adding and subtracting planets, we start to break some fundamental things that we live our life by, i.e. the days of the week and the entire mathematical numbering system.